Hey everyone, this is Mike Z from Mike Z Bowfishing, and you may have seen one of my previous videos where I fillet a nice snakehead. Well, I often get asked, how do I prep those fillets for cooking? So here in the pot, I have a couple nice fillets from a 10-pound snakehead, and I'm going to show you how I prep them. I basically turn these into pure white nuggets that I use for various methods of cooking. I like to simmer them, but you can deep fry them with Zatarain's and they turn out really well. So the first thing I do is I'll take the fillet out, bring it over to my prep station that I've neatly assembled. I have my cutting board, I have a serrated edge knife which I'll cut through the fillet as you'll see, and I have a very nice German fillet knife. So the first thing I'll do is I'll pat the fillet dry to get any excess water off of it. Then I'll shift the fillet to my cutting board, and at the very front edge of the fillet there are quite a few bones right in this section where my hand is. So what I'll do is I'll normally cut the tip off where it's been soaking in my brine, throw that off to the side, and then I'll basically cut 3 or 4 even sections that I'm going to convert into nuggets. Keep them nice and straight. So the very tail end of the fillet has very little meat on it. I mean, this is obviously quite edible, but I save this for my critters, so I'll throw it off to the side. I already have a bowl that I've done some previously. So anyway, after I cut the 4 sections that I'm going to trim down, I'll put them off to the side, and let's just start with a big one. I'm not going to do them all because you'll get the gist of how I convert these into a nugget. So basically, you have 2 bloodlines that also have a little bit of bones that run down the center of the fillet, or actually to the edges of the fillet. And what I'll do is I like to trim a little bit of the meat off from the outside where it's been brining in the water, because sometimes there'll be some blood stains or whatever, so I like to make them look good even though it is all edible. So I'll just trim that outside layer off a little bit, and if there's like any little pieces that don't look really nice, then I'll cut those off. And then I work myself, see where this little blood line runs, I'll work the knife right down to the edge of that. And as I told you earlier, this has a lot of bones in it right through here, so I normally don't even mess with that because it's hard to salvage any meat from it, so I'll save this for my raccoons. And then that's kind of what the side looks like where I cut off the bloodline. So then I'll flip the fillet around, and I'll do the same thing, and I'll work it down the edge, kind of like this. So you can see how it's starting to come together as a real nice chunk of meat. So if you look at this from the side cut, you can see the direction of the bloodline that runs through the fillet. And I kind of get my knife and I angle it so that I can make a cut and minimize the loss of meat. I'll take it about halfway down, and then I'll take another cut this direction and try to intersect my first cut. So you can see this very nice fillet that's coming together. And this is where I cut out the bloodline. You can see I have the bloodline all encompassed in this little chunk of meat that I feed to my pets. And then obviously you can eat the whole nugget as it is, but this bottom piece here was exposed to the water when it was brining, so I normally just trim a little bit off to make it real nice and clean. And there's a very nice pure white meat snakehead nugget. So here's the other section, which is obviously a lot larger, nicer piece. So what I'll do is I'll hold this flat, and then I'll kind of cut just a little bit from the bottom to trim the portion that was in the brine. And you know, sometimes you get a couple little pieces that you can trim off a little more. So there you have it, a very nice chunk. This is off, like I said, off a 10-pound snakehead, so it's a pretty nice chunk of meat. You can keep it this large if you want, or you know, you can slice it in half if you want a little smaller nugget to share with your family. You know, they're just sliced in half, and you can see how nice those are. So I'm going to do one more without talking too much, just so you can see how I do it in kind of full speed. It's not a very fast process, but you know, you'll get the gist. This bloodline on the front edge runs all the way down, so you know, you have to try to get close. You can see I get a little bit close there, so you know, I'll just trim, you know, a little bit more off on this nugget, like that. Then you can see the bottom that I'm going to trim. Like I said, I'll hold my hand over it, just get a little bit above the bottom, and then run the knife along it. There you go, really nice nugget. Missed a little bit on that one, so I'll just go a little bit more. And there you have it. Beautiful nuggets. So that's just out of half of a fillet from a 10-pound snakehead. Pure white meat. No bones, no parasites. Great eating from the Potomac. I hope you enjoyed the video. You kind of have the idea. Leave some comments, or if you have any questions, leave me a note and I'll try to get back to you. Until next time.